eight women has been killed today. But beyond that, everything is planned to perpetrate that genocide. Actually, this genocide is in progress. I support that with the following facts. A weapon has been distributed to those so-called young patriots, and actually there's young people unemployed, and we have been instrumentalized by the propaganda of Mr. Gbagbo to perpetrate those killings. They are pre-positioned in many various places, in district in Abidjan. They are conducting those killings. You can see the report.
A bit earlier, I spoke to Jacques Francoin.
Ethnic lines.
This is where I think the problem is for many people, because earlier I spoke to Jacques Francoin from the UNHCR, and while acknowledging that there's terrible violence going on, he was clear. It was clear to him that there was no particular group that was being targeted. That was the UNHCR. Amnesty International. How about Amnesty International? They spent 4 weeks in Côte d'Ivoire just a month ago. And this is what they had to say. They said rapes and abuses have been committed by both sides, sides in the nation's crisis. Both the security forces and the forces nouvelles are committing these horrific acts, and their victims have no recourse to justice. In Liberia, many of those refugees that have crossed the border are actually Gbagbo supporters and are being targeted for being Gbagbo supporters. All of this smacks of civil war, but again, not genocide. You're using that word genocide, but the facts don't seem to match up with it.
But that's matching very well, because people were targeting by in the region of Abidjan. Those people are from northern origin or center origin. They are either Jula, Malenke, or Baoulé from the center. That's very variable. And really, people are at stress right now. They fear for their life. What you said at the western part, that comes is a cycle of reprisal. I mean, violence reprisal. We denounce that as well. But the will of this plan, designed by Mr. Gbagbo and his backers, was unfolding right now. It has been long in advance prepared. It's ethnic cleansing. Also, to add to that, you have also people national from neighboring country, from Mali, from Burkina Faso, from Togo, from Guinea.
Okay, now the UN Security Council,
if you will, is sort of ethnic cleansing.
The UN Security, so it's not genocide, it's ethnic cleansing then?
Yes, something like that. But as long as people are targeting along the tribe line, along tribe line, or being opposing to Mr. Gbagbo, when you have a category of citizen which is targeted to be suppressed, I don't think it's a sort of cleansing.
Okay, so where you are now, the UN Security Council is having those consultations regarding Côte d'Ivoire. You do understand that the UN has a lot on its plate at this moment in time with regards to Libya and other crises in the world. What are you asking your compatriots and your colleagues and your fellow ambassadors for at the United Nations? What are you calling for at this moment in time?
I'm calling right now for a change of the mandate of the UN mission in Côte d'Ivoire. This mandate should be upgraded, should be reinforced to, let's say, to have a sort of peace enforcement mandate, because otherwise the killing will be perpetrated and the civilians are without any help. As you know, the protection of civilians is the heart of the peacekeeping operation. That should be fulfilled. Right now, the United Nations mission in Côte d'Ivoire could not fulfill this mandate, its task, because there's some limitation on that mandate. As you know, the supporter of Mr. Gbagbo, the force loyal to Mr. Gbagbo, prevent the peacekeepers doing the job. And worse, they are targeted as well. They are harassed, and this situation could not last longer. Otherwise, many casualty, fatality will occur. Up to now, the figure, the death toll is 603 people.
Understood.
The source is from the tax of the government of Mr. Ouattara.
Ambassador,
I'm there on the minute by minute on the phone with them.
Ambassador, yes. We are running out of time. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Yusuf Bamba,
okay.
The ambassador from Cote d'Ivoire to the UN.
Is very, very grave.
Understood, sir. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at some of the other stories making headlines now. Tunisia's interim president has called an election on July the 24th to appoint a group to rewrite the constitution. But that means Fouad Mebaza will stay in power beyond his March the 15th deadline. In a televised speech, Mebaza said he and the caretaker government will keep their positions until the vote is held. Turkish police have detained 6 journalists in connection with an alleged plot to overthrow the government in 2003. The arrests follow a 3-year-old investigation into a group known as Ergenekon. The Turkish Journalists Association says the detentions are a threat to press freedom. The United States says a former FBI agent who went missing nearly 4 years ago is being held in Southwest Asia. Robert Levinson disappeared during a business trip to Iran's Kish Island in March 2007. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has called for Tehran to help secure Levinson's safe return. The Military Council in Egypt has appointed a new prime minister. Issam Sharaf will take over from Ahmed Shafiq, who resigned on Thursday. Sharaf, a former transport minister, has been asked to form a new government. Shireen Tadros reports from Cairo.
It was the protesters' main demand, and on the eve of another million-man march, it was met. The military announcing on their Facebook page they'd accepted the resignation of Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq, the man appointed by former President Mubarak before he stepped down. 12 hours before, Shafiq was on Egyptian television having heated debates. He told presenters and guests he wasn't planning on stepping down, even given the public pressure and planned protests. He also defended the state security apparatus Egyptians have come to loathe.
Friday's demonstration, which had been gaining a lot of momentum here, is still going ahead. But organizers say it's not going to be a sit-in or a protest, but a day of celebration because the Egyptian people have had one of their main demands met.
اليوم هيبقى تظاهرة فيها احتفال.
Friday will be a festive day. We will finish in the evening and tell people there is no need for further action now. We need to give a chance to the new cabinet to tell us how and when the rest of our demands will be met.
This is the man tasked with forming a new cabinet, Egypt's new Prime Minister Issam Sharaf. He served briefly as transport minister under Hosni Mubarak but quit his post in protest after a deadly train crash. He said the state was not serious enough about solving traffic issues in Egypt. Youth and opposition groups support his appointment. They want a new government of technocrats and to be rid of any remnants of the old regime. With political changes going full steam ahead, Egyptians are cautiously optimistic. They're keeping a close watch, aware the people's strength lies in their stamina to